You're about to listen to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly, and the author of When Everyone Shines But You, a mental health and self-acceptance blogger and a recovering darkness addict. I have experienced intense anxiety, deep depression and life trauma, but I'm coming out of the other side now. Darkness was a comfort zone for me for a long time, and it felt safer than the light. So in this podcast I share with you my journey into the light and how I move through challenge in an empowering way. I'll share with you tools and nurturing ways to embrace your humanity. I was once a shy, scared introvert, afraid to speak, but that's all changing. Let's take this journey together and learn to fly. Hi there, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly Martin and this is episode 77. Firstly, I want to say sorry for not podcasting last week. I was caring for my best friend who's been really sick and I was just too emotionally and physically exhausted to do a podcast. He's slowly recovering, for which I'm very grateful. He's still in quite a lot of pain. And I'm hoping that he heals fully from this shingles episode that he's had. So today I'm going to talk about communication and self-expression. Now this week, actually today when this podcast goes out, is actually the general election in the UK to decide who will be our government, and as you can imagine, emotions are heated just about everywhere. And like other westernized countries, we have massive divisions taking place between people, belief systems and values. Now in 2017, I wrote a blog post called "Is It Time You Stop Censoring Yourself?" I've written a lot about people-pleasing in the past because I used to be an intense people pleaser. I didn't know anything other than people pleasing. As time goes on, I'm understanding who I used to be as a people pleaser and why I did what I did. It can feel safer to keep quiet, to not rock the boat, to never get involved in debates or conversations that may result in conflict, because we want to belong, to fit in, and essentially to be loved and liked. I know I didn't like myself back then. I often had a brewing resentment, an inner rage that was pushed down and repressed when I communicated. Instead of speaking what I felt, I spoke what I thought people wanted to hear. I wanted people to like me because I wanted to feel part of something, part of a tribe of like-minded individuals. But in doing so, I lost myself because I wasn't being true to me. The past year, I've begun to express more of who I am. I have stopped holding myself back. And my best friend actually shared his observations with me this week. He said that over the past 17 years, he's watched me go from being someone who would rather keep quiet than break the peace, rather be unhappy inside than, in my eyes, make other people unhappy. But over the years, things have changed. But to me, slowly. And to the outside world, it may appear that all of a sudden, I've become this mean-spirited woman who has beliefs and thoughts that are so alien, so different from who I appeared to be, that people may find me very uncomfortable and irritating and may even dislike me now. And he is right. I have changed. I question so many things, whereas before I questioned very little. Or if I did question, I kept it to myself. I believed what people said or what I heard via mainstream media, or people who were part of my little left-wing-based viewpoint system, my little bubble. I never allowed myself to see the other side of an argument or debate because I preferred to keep myself surrounded by people who agreed with me, who were on the same wavelength as me. All others were wrong in my eyes, until I became the other. One thing I did as a people pleaser was to apologize for being me. If I spoke about something that triggered someone into reaction, I would apologize. If it were on social media, I would delete the message. I had a deep feeling of shame for expressing anything that wasn't considered nice, or kind, or compassionate. A big part of me wanted to be viewed as the all-loving, kind, spiritual woman, when in fact it was all a facade. Inwardly, I was judgmental, critical, and saw things very differently. But the difference back then was that I also judged and criticized myself for being that way, for having judgments and criticisms. I apologized and shamed myself for being me because I thought it was bad to say anything that did not appeal or give me positive feedback. Fortunately, that, however, has all changed. If we suffer low self-esteem or have been programmed to think negatively about who we are, we may spend our lives either apologizing or keeping safe. We may even have great public confidence and communication skills, but we feel we need to be kind and considerate all of the time. Or we may feel the need to justify our point of view or beliefs instead of simply stating them. I was like this, and I can tell you now that it's a very limiting way to live. What is far more liberating is allowing ourselves to be disliked, disapproved of, and sometimes hated. To actually risk not being part of the status quo, or belonging to the popular group, be it in school, college, work, political circles, whatever your interests are. To play the devil's advocate and share alternative viewpoints is truly freeing. In all the time that I set myself up as being Miss Nice, I held my voice in a prison. I held myself in a prison. I was a shadow of who I could be. My body reflected this with health issues, and only now are they starting to unravel and be released. And when I started to share my true, authentic thoughts, I received a backlash, and initially that was really painful to me because it was so new. A part of me still wanted to be liked and loved. So I had to keep at it, keep expressing, regardless of the feedback the world gave me. Now, this past week, as our election heats up, I've allowed myself more and more to speak unpopular truths. And in doing so, have discovered that many of my friends on social media are very different in their views of the world. Many of whom I view as being unquestioning, like I was. I can imagine I've been hidden by a lot of people, or unfriended. It is a testament to truth speaking, that when you start to speak what is in your heart and mind without censorship, you find out who you genuinely have more in common with. It gives you a good, clear road for allowing people into your life who match your interests, or who you can relate to more. When we speak half-truths or hold back, we miss the people who want to relate or befriend who we are, and we also come across as quite inauthentic. I'm a bit of a bullshit detector, and I can sense when people are holding something back and their words aren't matching how they feel or what they're thinking. As time has gone on, I've begun to witness in others people-pleasing that I once did myself. The over-apologising for saying something that provoked reaction in others, or me. And now I feel compassion for them, that they feel the need to do this. I understand why they feel the need. But in the long term, it eats away at us. I would now much prefer someone to speak their real raw truths with me, even if it's an insult, because with raw truths you can be honest back towards them. You can get to the heart of the matter more quickly. Communication is more fluid. We know where we stand with people. Last night, or rather this past week, after a somewhat heated discussion on social media with a friend, I lay in bed and I spoke kindly to myself. I didn't beat myself up or criticise myself for speaking bluntly or passionately about an issue that I felt strongly about, which was my go-to in the past. Instead, I lay in bed and I said the following words to myself. I honour you, the part of you who feels rage. The fierce and fiesty part of you. I honour and respect you. You have the right to express who you are. The part of you who is angry, I respect and I honour you. And finally, I finish my conversation with, you never have to apologise for being who you are. You can be fiery, feisty, angry, raging, blunt, peaceful, loving, judgmental, critical, kind, and all feelings. And when the criticism comes, as it surely will, you never have to justify yourself. I honour and respect you. Now, this way of talking to myself is very different to my past. When I would say something like, how could you be so horrible? Look at how you hurt that person. Those were my inner guilt trips in my people-pleasing days that shamed and destroyed me from within. And while not many people may love or even like me right now, I like me a whole lot more than I have ever done in all my life. I feel I am owning who I am, and I feel more empowered as a woman. Yes, I may be finding my way in communicating, and sometimes I'm a bit arsey and feisty, or I'm overtly blunt. But this part of me has been trapped inside for such a long time, and I'm giving my voice freedom. My wildness can no longer be contained. Please don't contain your fire either. Thanks for listening to another episode of Kelly Martin Speaks. If you have a question or topic you are struggling with and would like me to answer on an upcoming podcast episode, please get in touch. Your name will be completely confidential. Email me at kellymartinspeaks@gmail.com or message me on Facebook via my page Kelly Martin Speaks. And don't forget, if you feel that others are passing you by and the not good enough voice is screaming loudly, pop by kellymartin.co.uk to find out all about my books, including book 1, When Everyone Shines But You. And you can also support my channel, which I very much welcome, via my podcast page on my website, kellymartinspeaks.co.uk, via PayPal, or you can buy me a coffee via ko-fi.com/Kelly Martin. And you'll find that on my website if that was a bit of a mouthful to remember. Until next time, everyone, bye for now. You've been listening to my podcast, Kelly Martin Speaks. I'd really appreciate your feedback. If you're listening on iTunes, please give me a review. It helps me be seen and heard by those that need it. You can also follow me on kellymartinspeaks.co.uk, where you can read my blogs, find out about my book series, and subscribe to my monthly newsletter. I'm also all over social media, so search for me via Kelly Martin Speaks on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. I'll speak to you next week. Bye.